protagonists in Helluva Boss, who made her first appearance in episode 2, Lululand, well compared to her appearance in the second episode. Today, I'm going to analyze this character in every episode she made a major appearance in, and see whether she sucks or not. In case you hadn't known, this video was obviously inspired by Sonic RXD's Mortal Kombat Sucks series. The difference is, Sonic RXD is the original. So, with that out of the way, let's get into Stella from Helluva Boss. Cause he had an affair. Stella says that she can't believe Stolas slept with an imp. And as you all know, imps are the second lowest demons in Hell's hierarchy, only being above hellhounds. So, to Stella, the thought of her husband sleeping with an imp must be insulting, humiliating, and Shatavia says, back when my parents didn't hate each other, meaning back when she was younger, Stella and Stolas had some form of a relationship, at least in the perspective of Okkel. Stella and Stolas were at least mutual with each other, and started a family. But once Stolas cheated on her with an imp, she got mad at Stolas ever since. So far, stays this way for the rest of the series. Let's move on to her next appearance.
What if Shadow Bonnie is actually Darkiplier?
Stella doesn't make a huge appearance in Harvest Moon Festival until the very end, where it's revealed.
Cheating prick. Dead. I don't care who you have to go through.
Stolas and Stella were arranged to marry by the Gosha family, while Stolas was told this party, and even further berates Stolas right in front of her friends, family members, colleagues. We have no idea. Also, why is Stella so loud? Her voice is somehow louder than the music that's playing at the party. Claire's that he's divorcing Stella. I have two questions. 1. Many people in the Helluva Boss fandom kept saying that the pilot wasn't canon. But there is a what I think. I think the writers just said fuck it and added this scene anyway. Going to lie, that made me laugh. So, we finally get to find out why Stella is still around Stolas even after his affair. Why she continues to berate him.
I like tormenting you. I want to keep reminding you of what you did.
It just because. Attempts to strike him while name dropping her brother.
What do you think the rest of the Goetia family
had an affair on her? Let's just move on to the next episode before I make myself angrier.
Czy to Freddy Fazbear?
But what Stolas says in response to her is pretty interesting.
What? No, I'm not turning her against you. Yes, Stella!
So what exactly does I'm not turning her against you mean? This could be implying that Stella and Octavia have a hope it's the former instead of the latter. Because Stella would at least add something to her character aside from being a damn Stolas hater. On to the next and final episode. For their divorce. Then Stryker suddenly appears and shoots Stolas. Why don't you look more concerned? I get that this was your plan, but you're making Realfus's ice castle. Why does this ice castle look like a birthday cake? Anyway, this entire scene further cements her entire character of being a Stolas hater. But not only is she a Stolas hater, but she's also pretty stupid. Stella never wanted any of Stolas's possessions or power. She just wanted Stolas's head. And I wasn't emotionally affected by the divorce, and she wasn't emotionally affected by the affair. She wants to kill him just because. This is pretty poor character writing. Then Andrealfus calls Stella a couple of suspicious words.
want him dead so badly?
Oh! Ew!
The screen time she has, for now at least. So, how do I feel about her? Well, Grandmaster Blueberry Ice sums her up perfectly.
Such wasted potential.
Stella went from the flawed wife of Stolas to a Stolas hater. The writers made unnecessary retcons just to make Stella a worse character when she really couldn't have been. The pieces for a compelling character were there, but all we have is just a one-dimensional mustache-twirling antagonist. I wouldn't say Stella has been ruined.
Yeah, you suck.